So we've been going through this Tiffany Henyard situation, and soon we'll be able to say the Tiffany Henyard trial. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We have a former employee of the mayor, Tiffany Henyard. And when I tell you, man, people are coming out of the woodworks after this woman. Apparently, this man has a criminal history of the very worst. The type of criminal history that makes you get shanked up in prison, the type of criminal history that gets you labeled a chomo. You know, the type of criminal history where you have to go around the neighborhood and tell your neighbors what you done did with your life. That type of criminal history. Apparently, Tiffany is hiring people, not doing background checks, or in his case, knows about the background and doesn't care because she likes you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this interview with Lavelle Redman, the man that Henyard hired knowing his criminal background. The more this goes on, the more we're going to find out. We have somebody who previously worked for Tiffany, and he kind of just explains the culture of just hiring people because you like them, not because they're qualified. It's actually kind of crazy. You guys got to shout out Jedediah for making this interview possible.
And I guess I kind of think we should just start there. How was it serving in the village of Dalton as a code enforcement officer? My nerves.
Well, I will say, because I'm going to try to be as transparent and as honest as possible, neither one of us was actually certified to serve as code enforcement officers. So I will start there. My job, much like police officers, we are more like beautify officers. So what we do is we make sure people's lawns are cut, nobody has trash in the yard, doors are not broken, people have addresses properly placed on the house as well as on the garage of the house.
What's up, a
So
Jim?
I never really got out of the vehicle. I was just a person that drove around and frequent certain areas, and I would give people, warnings if they had any infractions.
Okay, it does get a little choppy right here, but we're gonna work with it. I'll be right back while this is unfucking itself.
Things. So I wasn't an inspector, so I wasn't able to go to anybody's homes for no particular reason.
Which is obviously something that's been said a lot. So you didn't go into people's home.
No.
You also, I mean, you started off saying that you knew that you were not certified. Is that in hindsight, or did you know at the time that you were not certified to do the job?
Well, I learned uh, afterward that we were supposed to be certified.
Mm.
To be very honest with you, I wasn't. I didn't put in for a job in the village of Dalton. I was ushered into the job by Tiffany.
All right, red flag number one. Do you notice something odd about Tiffany's administration? The police chief wasn't qualified. The code enforcer, this guy, not qualified. So we can go ahead and assume that everybody Tiffany fired and rehired or filled up in her little administration is probably not qualified. The only person I would say is probably qualified is Keith Freeman, who is just closing his eyes, closing his mouth, and burying his head into the sand. Because this is why. Keith Freeman is a politician, folks, and in my opinion, he's been around the block for some years. We saw his history with his deposition. He's been around the block in politics. What, 3 municipalities, 3 different boards or something like that? He knows how to work it. And I don't think he's innocent on any of those administrations. But the one thing I will say is he probably knew how to move and not look like a buffoon. On the other hand, Tiffany's out here. She don't know what the fuck she's doing. So now he's starting to look a little bad because everybody's looking at everything. But honestly, the only competent person on that board, other than the people Tiffany didn't hire, is probably Freeman. Other than that, these folk don't know what the fuck they doing. He's telling us right now he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Crazy.
It was offered.
It was offered. I turned it down a few times. I was told that I would get a high-paying job at first, and I turned that down. Tiffany sent other people to try to coerce me to come work for the village initially, because we're a little bit fast forwarded. the details, but before she became the mayor, we were supposed to start a business together, a greeting card business. So um, with me, I told her I don't want to work for nobody. We were supposed to sign an LLC together, go into business. She talked to some Italian lawyer she had on the phone. He was on speaker. I heard him, and yeah, we were supposed to start a business together. She was amped up for it, and that never happened for other reasons. But when she did handle the transition team with Dorothy Brown and other people who she promised.
And one thing I will say, it's obvious. I don't know if you guys haven't realized. It's obvious as hell. He's over here, quote unquote, testifying because something happened with him and Henyard. Something happened to where he was like, you know what, bitch, fuck you. I'm snitching on you. I'm telling everybody what's what. You know what I'm saying? So I think something must have happened. Because the way he's talking about her, it seems like they were tight. They almost went into business together. Okay. She begged him, it seemed, to come and work for the city. Something behind the scenes happened recently.
I told her I didn't want to work. In her defense, she did try to offer me a high-paying job, so she said, but I didn't want to take it. So eventually, I did have to put gas in my vehicle. I did have to live and survive. So I humbled myself and I went on and took a job. When I got to the village, I didn't know what job it would be. She told me that I wouldn't be micromanaged. I'd be free to just drive and stay out of the way and write tickets. So it sounded appealing to me.
Wow.
And eventually that's when I learned what a code enforcement officer was. So I told her I didn't have a GED. She said she didn't care, just make it look good.
Of course not.
And I did that. I just marked whatever, jumped on Google, found out how to put together a resume, did it. She rushed it into the office of HR, and I was hired.
Man, listen, man, that shows how having the hookup could really change things, bro. Having the hookup could really change your life. Something that you would never be able to get, ever. Unless you really worked for it, you really put in the hours, you really grind for it. You just get that shit like that real fucking quick. See, this is what I'm saying, though. Look at the wrist. What is that, 20,000? Was that 20K right there on the wrist? Come on now. This is proof that these boys were getting paid for not knowing shit. What's up, Ian?
Wowza, that was loaded, and I first of all want to definitely acknowledge and appreciate the level of transparency and upfrontedness. For me, I'm new at interviewing, I'm new at having a damn show, and we all know that. But I would say one of the things that I appreciate right now is that it is clear that you could speak for yourself. And while you've seen your name be talked about so much, and you've not spoken for yourself, but you clearly are capable of doing. I could imagine that would be difficult, but I would want to know why.
I'm sorry.
Why haven't you spoke out before today?
I don't want to make this a religious thing, but I am a child of God, so I will say that the Spirit told me to buckle down. I can't tell you that as a man and as a person that was demonized, I did not want to speak out. Tiffany's team did a lot to silence me in the wake of me being plastered all over the news. I was hidden in a basement in Village Hall. I was protested against. And yes, I wanted to speak out, but I was transfixed on protecting her image. I did not want to do anything that would put a bad light.
Sure, my boy said he was transfixed. Cause someone to become motionless with horror, wonder, or astonishment. That's not it. So that doesn't really make sense. So he was I guess he was stuck on helping her. I don't know.
And I was internally grateful for her, giving me the job. But I was very adamant about staying out of nonsense, just to keep her in a bright light, And
okay, I got it back. My mouse must be dying or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Protecting her.
I was protecting her.
You cared about Tiffany more than you being dragged. And so that would make me wonder, as a person, as a man,
Where you trying
it
to
will make me
smash?
wonder why. Why did you care so much about Tiffany
She must
Henyard?
have put it on him. She must have put it
I'm
on
gonna tell
him.
you
He
a
was
story
like,
that nobody knew. Okay, so in the beginning, I didn't know who Tiffany Henyard was. Her cousin Dion lived next door to my mother, and I'm very overprotective of most people in my life, and in particular my mother, like most men should. And I would periodically catch him helping my mother carry groceries up the stairs, and I was very concerned about who he was. Um, so I jumped out of the vehicle. I talked to him. I learned he was a gentleman. It's just his character. That's what he does. He helps old women across the street. That's just what he does. And
mm.
that was admirable to me. And I befriended him. We talked. I got familiar with him. Learned that he was a guy that was always trying to get into something positive and productive. And that was attractive to me. And he kept telling me, maybe you need to go out to Dalton. My little cousin is running for mayor out there. I think you can find some opportunity out there. And I was like, I don't do politics. I don't want nothing to do with that. So he was asking me for months upon her. I didn't know she would trust. I didn't know nothing about her. So eventually he got me by saying there was a party being thrown out there, which he tricked me. So he was like, it's going to be a lot of girls out there. It's a nice party. I know you got a woman, but it's going to be a good time. So I went out there and I went into a campaign office and there was no party. So he tricked me, to
What's up,
come
just
out there and do
because?
campaign work. That's what he did. And so
The political part.
it's a political part. So upon me
What's up,
paying attention and
Theodius?
surveying my surroundings, Tiffany Henyard walked up. And she walked up to me with these big eyes and this big smile and her energy.
Big eyes and big smile. Yep, Bug Eye Henyard. Man, listen, she tries to do that little charm on people, and I mean it probably works until you realize that she ain't shit. She brings you aboard a sinking ship with all this gold, you know what I mean? With all this shiny shit. Like, oh yeah, good paying job, this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, you're all over the news being called all types of shit. Now, I will say though, I'm not saying he's fully like blameless. I don't know what he was doing while he was in that administration. We don't know if he was making some extra side money. We don't know what. But you know what she's going to do to you. If you're on her team and shit goes wrong, she's going to point the finger at you. She's done it before. She'll do it every single time. You see this guy? He's about to be the new Keith Freeman. Or if Keith Freeman is about to be the new him. And I think Freeman understands that. And that's why he's already kind of siding toward going against Henyard. Because he understands that this is what she'll do. She'll infatuate you. She'll make you seem all, she'll hype you up. Big eyes, big smile, right? Please.
She was infectious. I couldn't say no to this woman. I don't know what it was, but in hindsight, I see she's very good at imposing her will and her energy on you. But she said, "Did you come out here to help me campaign?" And I looked at Dion, and I looked at her, and I could not tell
He
this
said
woman no.
yes.
So I had a Land Rover at the time, and those who own a Land Rover know it's a gas guzzler. I didn't have no job. I was on hard times, and I worked in and out jobs with temp services, this, that, and the third. So I rolled up and down the blocks of Dalton, passing out literature, putting it in people's doors, and was running out of gas. So I called Dion, and I told him, I said, "Look, you tricked me out here. I
You
need some
tricking
gas
me
money."
out.
So he was like, "Oh, that's not nothing. I can get you some gas money if that's the problem." I said, "No, that's not the problem. The problem is you lied to me to get me out of here. There's no party, and I'm going door to door passing out literature for Tiffany." So after that, he offered to give me money. I didn't take it, but I made a mental note not to campaign no more. But for
I
some,
keep looking at my boy's wrists over here, thinking about how much money he made. This shit, I'm just saying, my boy. Hey, good for you though, my boy. Hey, he living life. You know what I'm saying? He got little coins in his pocket. That's crazy, bro. I just can't. I don't see how this shit happens. It's like, I guess if the mayor says it's okay, imagine the mayor's just like, hey, let's just grab this buffoon and fucking throw him up here and let's get some shit going. Like, this is kind of the energy I'm getting from her. It's like, fuck it, we'll figure it out. No experience, we'll figure that shit out.
For some reason, again, when I saw Tiffany again, I could not say no to this woman. It's just
Now let me explore this. Not say no. Is
Yes,
it because
please.
you thought that okay, this is a woman who could become the next president? Her candidacy, I believe in it. I buy in it. Or did you think that she's beautiful? Is this as a man a personal?
Please ask that question. Good man.
Personal feel. Because not being irresistible, what made her that? I think she looked like Lil Wayne.
well, I will say this. You know, I will say this. I wasn't directly attracted to her physically.
Oh God,
She's a cute girl, I guess.
He was.
But she just wasn't my type.
No. He's lying. But look at how your boy answered this question.
Or did you think that she's beautiful? Is this as a man a personal feel? Because
Can't
not being
say no.
irresistible,
What do you guys
made her
think?
that? I think she looked like Lil Wayne.
Well, I will say this. You know, I will say this. I wasn't directly attracted to her.
I will say this. I'm gonna play with my shoes now. I wasn't directly shut the fuck up. Shit. Do you find Husky attractive? She's not hard to look at, but when she opens her mouth, that's the end of it for me. So it wouldn't go too far. I need a feminine. I don't even need a feminine voice. I like some women with deeper voices, honestly. So that's not it. It's just her voice is too crackly. It just went. It's like it sounds like she's about to get sick all the time. That's how she sounds to me. You know, it's like right when you're about to get sick and you have to like clear your throat. That's how she sounds forever. So it wouldn't work. But he lying though. He's lying. Just so you guys know.
Physically.
What's up, Anthony Hood?
She's a cute girl, I guess, but she just wasn't my type. Just being honest. What really was attractive to me about Tiffany is her energy and her level of drive. I've always prided myself on a tenacious and driven woman. So when I saw those attributes in her, it was attractive to me.
Yeah. Fun fact. Guys like that shit. Well, no. Not all guys like that shit. Some guys like women that are just subservient beings that are shameful and in the house. But some guys like the go-getter. I don't like girls who just don't have nothing to do other than you. You know what I mean? Like, go have some type of fucking, like, goal in life. That'll make me want you. That's going to make me want to chase you more. But, yeah. So, in that respect, I could see how that could be attractive. But, not Henyard. Jesus Christ. You could see through it. That's all I'm saying. I feel like you could see through her bullshit.
I saw how much of a go-getter she was, and she was just dogging about what she wanted.
Yeah.
And so, to be very honest with you, I was attracted to her cousin, Tamika, who worked in the campaign office.
Okay.
And so, as it went on, I realized that Tiffany had like sort of a schoolgirl crush on me.
Mm.
But I didn't initially see it. Her father warmed up to me, Rome, and all of us are from the west side of Chicago. Just so you know, I grew here and flew here phrase. Tiffany lived on Troy, out west, right off Kedzie and Roosevelt. And my whole family knows her whole family. Not to throw you under the bus, dear.
Well, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyhow, I know her whole family. I know her uncles. You know, I know her. She got an uncle named Keith.
Bro, it's monotone.
Still lives on Troy, Junkyard. I know.
It's funny. Jedediah, the bro over here, he trying to make jokes and shit. OG is over here like, nah, man. Like, let me break this shit down for you real quick. He not showing no emotion. You could tell this is serious for him because I feel like, again, the only reason he's saying this is because he feels like Tiffany didn't have his back at some point. So she did him wrong somehow in his mind. And that's how everything's going to go for her, bro. That's what she doesn't understand. That's how every relationship is going to go for her that she created in this political world, because she turns on people too fast, bro. You have to have loyalty to something.
And every time I go on the west side, I literally hang on the porch and have a beer or a drink or something. And one of our uncles, Kiwi, always asks me for cigarettes. So I respect her father, so I'm not going to demonize her. I'm not going to use this platform to ridicule her and tear her down. She's done a fairly good job of doing that to herself. But I will say this,
I like him.
they don't have great things to say about her. So anyhow, back to the initial point at hand.
He's saying a lot of nothing.
I learned that she had a crush on me because she had an assistant in the office at the time that had a crush on me. And I won't say her name because I don't know if she wants her name put out. I hugged her like I do everybody else in the office, and upon releasing her, she pecked me real quick.
Wait, who kissed you?
The assistant.
The assistant kissed you. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
But and I won't say her name because I don't know if she wants her name put out. But anyhow, she hauled off and kissed me one day.
Oh, it wasn't Henyard. My bad.
I hugged her like I do everybody else in the office, and upon releasing her, she pecked me real quick.
Wait, who kissed you?
The assistant.
The assistant kissed you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when she kissed me, naturally my reflex was to jerk back, and it got back to Tiffany.
Was it a good kiss?
I wasn't attracted to her either, so
Okay.
I can't really say that the kiss settled on me well.
Okay.
Anyhow, rumors swirled around the office
y'all
that
could
me and her
kiss me.
had something going on. And I denied it. So Tiffany brought it to me, and when she brought it to me, I thought she was coming to me with the energy of, this is not professional. I don't want this going on in my campaign office, but she came with another kind of energy that suggested that there was a little jealousy there.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
But still, I didn't take her serious. She was a vivacious girl. She was always high energetic, always, offering people food and all. So I didn't really zero in on the fact that she was serious. And so one day she pulled me to the side. She was like, "What's this I'm hearing about you and the young lady?" I said, "There's nothing going on between me and her." And she appeared to be a little annoyed, like almost angry.
Oh shit.
But everybody in the office believed it. So I don't really believe in explaining myself to know. But once I tell you this is not what it is, and you stay transfixed, don't believe, you can believe whatever you want to believe at that point. So anyhow, she called me into a meeting one day. It was full of girls.
Bet you this is some retaliation. We're probably gonna walk into we're just going to understand the culture of how Tiffany does things. Because, again, he expected the non-professionalism, you're not being professional speak. She was like, why'd you kiss that bitch? And that probably had him like, what? That's what we doing? So this is like one big high school music story. That's what we doing.
And she asked me, would I ever date a woman because she had power? And at that point, I realized she was talking about herself.
Wait. Tiffany's... You're quoting, quote, would you ever date a woman who had power?
Yes.
End quote.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I told her, no, it's not my power. I don't care about none of that. So if I date a girl, it's going to be because I like her. You know what I mean? And then later on, she wanted me to be her personal detail.
Yep.
So again, I thought she was playing around. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go up to the flea market and get me a fake badge so I can have a badge. She was like, no, I'm going to get you a real badge. What? And I was like, okay. I didn't pay attention to it. And then she brought it to me again. And she had somebody that was helping her run her campaign. And I will say his name because I think it's important to do it. His name was...
Isn't that sexual harassment? Low key high. I mean, it's only sexual harassment if you don't like it. Did he not like it? Listen, he could tell his own version of the story, but I'll tell you one thing. If someone is smearing my name and I have something to do and I can stop it, but I'm not going to do so because it's going to hurt the person that I know, I like her. He liked her a lot. So no, I don't think it was sexual harassment. I think it was two people getting to know each other. That's what I think.
was Sammy Young. Sammy Young, I began training him and his nephew Tony at the gym, and we became familiar with each other to the point where we were all like an in-house family in the campaign office. And
Straight up, some women are
I
scary.
told
I'm telling
Tiffany
you.
at this point, I didn't really want to tell her because I didn't want to unnerve her. I want her to get a feel for my character before I unleash my truths on her. So I told her, I said, listen, I can't be, your personal detail. And prior to that, I had already explained this to Sammy, so he already knew the situation. Because Sammy was a superintendent for Cook County Jail for many years, so he was able to research me regardless. And since I was training him and they were paying me weekly to train as a personal trainer, I felt the need to tell him who he was training with. And this particular day, I told Tiffany I couldn't be, your personal detail. I got a background. And she said, I don't care as long as it ain't no kids. I said, but there is kids involved. I was a child. And so she was like, well, I don't care. That was like, what, 30 some years ago? I said, yeah, it was.
So this is interesting because here it is. You're almost describing a person who doesn't understand the weight or the seriousness of their office or their decision. You're saying
What was his past? That's the question. He said he was a kid. And she said, I don't care, that was 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying, though? So she's hiring people, not even looking into their background. It's like, you don't even know who's really... You like them, you're going to put them on. You want them close to you so you could sneak off and do a little, a little hanky-panky, or you put them on the security detail. She don't really care. It's her needs.
and I've done things to protect her, and I'm telling her this, and she just doesn't care because she just wants her will. Is that?
I'm going to be honest with you. And then we'll get back on track with the initial point I was making. Tiffany, in my opinion, I mean, no matter how many years we are able and blessed to be around people, we only know of them. We only know what they want us to know. So when I got to know Tiffany, it was a very different version of what you see now.
Wow. I hear that a lot.
She was, and the relics and the rumors about dealing with different guys, I didn't see that. So all this stuff that people are saying and echoing, I didn't see 90% of it. And I'm very good at absorbing energy in people and details. So she duped me pretty good, and given the environment that I come from, which is very predatory prison, I've always had to be on my P's and Q's. So for her to get one over on me, that was surprising to me. And given her age.
He's telling her he can't be around kids. 30 years ago, as a kid, he must have been found guilty of something with the... okay, so it's some minor shit. He doesn't want to explain it. Hold on, what's his name? Lavelle... Oh, I thought I had that. Lavelle Redmond. We can figure that out real fast. Drop. That was a little too easy. Can we open this? Well, you son of a bitch. Redmond Lavelle. Other name, Redmond Lavelle. Date of birth, 74, 6'2", 224 pounds. A big motherfucker. Male, black, homeless. Oh, he has a... Information may be available for offenders on parole or mandatory supervised release mandatory supervised release through Illinois Department of Corrections. Click the link to blah blah blah. What did he do though? Aggravated criminal sexual assault with a weapon. With a weapon. So that's super planned. It's not even like damn. Okay, so that's who she's hiring. Victim was 14 years of age. Offender was 15 at the time of the offense.
Age bracket, you know what I mean? I mean, she's relatively young, 41 now. When we was willing and dealing, she had to be like 37, 38. And she she masked herself very well with a good heart, and I'm the innocent damsel in distress who wants to rise up above, and become the first young black mayor. And I was pulled in
Wow.
to that energy, and I genuinely wanted to see her win. I think she had an incredible opportunity to do things that are insurmountable and great. I think she fumbled God's purpose that He put on her. And I do think that she was anointed to do a purpose for God. I
Hey,
just
don't speak too spiritual right now, brother, because your past ain't looking too fire, big dog. Just saying.
think that most of us who are gifted or given a purpose by God, we can fumble it.
Damn. Okay, Sarah, I see what
So,
you're
so
saying.
Lavelle, I do want to get back to track, being on track. But I was trying to do a little bit of a build up to myself. Um, and so I kind of want to go back to the beginning of the interview. And my question to you was, how was it serving the people?
I mean, I'm going to be very honest with you. I feel incredibly bad for my role in helping elect her. And I say that because I truly, and I'm sure the trustees that are sitting on the panel did too, everybody genuinely believed that she would do what she said she would do. I think that she completely did a 360 when she got in office. But in answering your question, there's been nothing good in my life as a child. And
I don't know about him. He's super, like, you can say that was 30 years ago, but if you were 15 and willing to do something to a girl with someone else, allegedly, I don't know. I'm not going to go. I don't know the case. So I'm not going to act like I know what happened. But the rumors say that, it was a group of people to a 14-year-old girl. I don't know, bro. I don't know if you could really come back from that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like 30, what's 30 years later? Like what's really 30 years later? Honestly, it's like at that point, it's like, all right, bro. Bad childhood, exactly. Like what? Huh?
I
Henyard likes
won't use
him.
this platform to play victim because I'm not a victim for anyone. But I was never really a wholesome child. And so, and I'm leading up to your question. And so, when I was young, I was environment driven, meaning that all the vices that go on in slum areas and all that, I succumbed to that. And I became a very bad child. Hung up with the wrong group of kids, all that. The same stories you hear with these boys doing right now. I won't throw my parents under the bus, but I will say this if you can understand it. My mother and my father had their own demons. And I'll keep it right there. But when I needed them the most, they were the very best versions of what they were when I needed them the most, and it wasn't enough for me. So I was consumed by the vices in the ghetto. And
Bro got that vocabulary from fighting this case. bro speaking in his vocabulary because he knows how to present himself now. He'd probably find that case, learn a few words and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the way he presents himself, man, he definitely wants to get this narrative out, but take it with a grain of salt. I believe a lot what he's saying. I believe that the girl pulled him and kissed him and all this stuff. But take it with a grain of salt. He's definitely trying to paint a narrative to keep himself looking good. He's fucked up about his past being released, and Henyard's not there to support him. I mean, why would she, right? It's been exposed, right? So why would she? He's fucked up over that. Guilty by association, fact.
subsequently, I became a very troubled young man. I yearned to hang out with all the wrong groups. The badder, the worser, the better it was for me. Fast forwarding to your question, what I went through, what God put me through in prison, I got completely destroyed and then transmogrified and made something different, whether people choose to believe that or not. But the fact is, when I was able to come out to the village and help somebody to do something meaningful, it meant a lot to me. And so when I seen her young, black, she's a woman, I've been accused for these horrible crimes against women. I just felt it was an opportunity for me to give
Accused, or
the
did you
best
do it?
version of me. And so I wanted to help her, and I did everything I could to help her. I was out on streets of Dalton, 2, 3 in the morning, passing out literature about Riley being a wife beater and all this nonsense I don't know nothing about. I flipped a lot of votes because I fashion myself as being a person that's well spoken when I need to be. I flipped a lot of votes. A lot of people did not want her to be the mayor. I don't think she understands that. Karen Johnson did the same thing. But I talked to so many residents that was just completely transfixed on not wanting to see her face as the mayor of Dalton. And that's a fact. But I talked to them when I was a code enforcement officer. I would talk to them. You know, they were very adamant about her getting out of that office when she got recalled. Well, I talked to a lot of them. Give her another chance. She's young. She's still developing spiritually and obviously mentally. But yeah, so in answering your question, it was a chance for me to do something meaningful, something that I can hold on to and say, you know what, I helped put that sister in office. She made history, and I gotta tell you, I regret it. I do regret it. You know.
Yeah, but I want to ask you specifically is about as a code enforcement officer, how did the residents entreat you? How was that experience for you?
Okay, so here's the deal. So I've always been a person, and don't use this to crack a joke on me. I'm just being honest. And Nikita used to tease me about this when she was PRing for Tiffany. I've always been a person that's been perceived to be well dressed. And even when I was a code enforcement officer,
okay.
So they used to tease me all the time. They used to call me deacons, detectives. Nikita would catch me telling me I'm the prettiest, you know what I mean? All type of stuff. They would just crack on me 24/7. Yes, all that.
That's president.
Everything. And then I would carry a badge on my hip. So in answering your question,
Well-spoken, well-dressed predator. That's how children become victims, because women give males like this a second chance. Damn. All Eyes on Me is out here spitting lyrics, man. Facts, bro. Because he's a good strapping man with with a pretty wrist, and you know, spoken well, and he'll treat me. Oh, he was just misunderstood. Listen, probably a popular opinion. You know Nicki Minaj, right? Woo, Nicki Minaj. Do you know her husband's past? It's the same thing. I don't know if they're still together now, but I was thrown the fuck off. I was like, Nicki Minaj is married to this guy. Do your own research. I'm not even going to go into that. But it's the same thing with Henyard and this guy, Nicki Minaj and her husband. It's like, oh, he's just so handsome. He couldn't have done that, bro. Yeah. Best dressed because you know you have to hide something. See, I'm a bummy ass type of dude because I guess I'm not hiding shit. The best dressed in the room, you gotta be careful. They might be hiding some shit. I don't know.
when I got ushered all over the news by the people at certain radio stations I'm not going to mention, people did not associate that face on the news to the person that they saw driving around in the village.
Wow.
Because my imagery was different.
Wow.
And then I was well spoken. I respected everybody. You know what I mean? People respected me, so people just could not believe that I was the face that was being plastered all over the news for a certain crime. Even when people, even when they did find out who I was, a lot of people, you know, when they got the details, because a lot of people just ran with the news. Some people did their actual research. They Googled me. They learned I was a child with other children, and older and adult. And they understood, because a lot of people, I mean, let's face it, we won't make this a racist thing. We black, you know, we all have nephews in prison, uncles, fathers. A lot of us understand the story about being sucked into the vices on the streets, and subsequently getting sucked in by the judicial system, made an example out of. And I was no exception to that. You know, when I was a child, I was probably borderline retarded, and we don't use a better word. I was slow to develop.
Bro said he was borderline retarded. I can't, bro. Hey, he said it, not me. This man is a fool. Come on, don't use that as an excuse. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know no better, so everybody attacked her. I just jumped in too because I was born." Come on now. We're not using that. We're not using that as an excuse, buddy.
Maybe
And
understand
so,
that.
yeah, so were the boys around me, in their defense. In hindsight, I'm almost 50 years old.
But I want to talk about that. I want to kind of go down that road a little bit because you said that there were people who, well, first of all, I can believe that. I've said the few times I've seen you, I can tell that you care about your presentation. Excellence is you definitely present excellence every time.
I
But I
appreciate
want to
it.
I want to kind of go into some of that because, and this is based off of information that we've had. These are things people talked about. You said there were those that went and did the research. So in 1991, you was accused, or it was found that you had committed a sexual assault with a weapon and sentenced at the age of 17 to 50 years in prison.
Okay.
So this is what happened. And I won't get into too much detail. Like I told you, I'm writing me a book eventually.
Okay.
So when I went to prison, and this
What's up, Lana?
gets me a little upset, just the details and what they're doing in the judicial system. When I went to prison, none of us knew anything about jail or laws or attorneys or none of it. Anything that has anything to do with jail. When you're a teenager, you completely dumbfounded because you're ignorant to it. And I was 15 years old when I went to jail. When you when you commit a certain kind of crime or you're involved in a certain kind of crime, they charge you as an adult. Okay, when they charge you as an adult, that's called an AT, which is means automatic transfer to the county when you turn 17, because they can't put you around grown-ups when you're still a child. So they send you to places like the Audi home,
Mhm.
which is in some other terms considered juvenile detention. Okay, if you're convicted as a juvenile, you go to children penitentiaries like Valley View, Little Joliet, St. Charles, Hasburg. Those are little children prisons. But when you get charged as an adult, if you don't take a plea before you turn 17, when you turn 17, they put you in Cook County Jail with the adults,
Okay.
which is what happened to me. So when I turned 17, they sent me to Cook County Jail. And even in Cook County Jail, they don't initially put you around grown men. There's there's 4 decks that they put juveniles on, usually like the school wing, but they keep the juveniles particularly away from the grown-ups because they view you as being vulnerable to a degree, even when you go to prison. So they are careful to separate grown-ups from kids, even when you get charged as an adult, unless you start doing silly stuff behind bars, and then they don't care where they put you. If you troublesome, they'll throw you anywhere. And so,
And I think that I think that society needs to know a lot more about the system and the way that it targets and how predatory it is. And I hope that your book that you will write will explore those topics. But even with the system, I think it's important if you can answer were you guilty.
partially, of course, we all know.
My bro said he was partially guilty. Um, partially, bro. So you halfway stuck your dick inside, or like how does that work? How does that work? What did you partially do? Curious. That's crazy though. Let's
Or if
find
you
out.
don't know, we all know about the accountability law. If you're there, you're guilty. Bottom line, in prison, they have a term for it, you're rappy, co-defendant, whatever you want to call it. If you were there, you're guilty. Bottom line. And then they have another silly term that's only for probably Latinos and blacks, just being honest, which is ignorance is no excuse for the law. No child knows anything about the law, much less most adults. So when you go into the judicial system, if you don't have an attorney, you are going to jail. You are going to prison. I don't care who you are. There's You have to understand public defenders work for the state. They don't work for you. They get paid whether you get found guilty or innocent. And likely they are definitely not going to do any legwork or any paperwork to try to justify your innocence. So you are going to prison if you don't have a lawyer. I don't care who you are. And you're going to get a lot of time. So what the state basically does, in my case, so people can understand the totality of why I took the plea of guilty, because this is probably the most important thing you need to know about what they do to our boys and little girls. So when you go to trial, you cost the state money. When you take a plea agreement, they cut off certain times, or they'll have you plead guilty to certain crimes in order to give you a set determinate sentence to not cost the state any money for a trial. That's what they do. But let's just say you're involved in a crime. You didn't do 90% of what they're charging you for. Let's just say they gave you a high count number. They gave you 36 counts or whatever charges it was. And they say, listen, we'll knock off out of that 30 counts, we'll knock off 28 counts for you to plead guilty for this amount, just so you don't get 100 years. We'll give you 30 years if you cop out for this. The truth is they're making a deal for you not to cost the state any money for a trial. So they throw the plea in your face, and even if you're not guilty, even if you argue, whatever the case is, you're gonna take the plea because you feel like I got a public defender. He's not gonna defend me. I don't know any legal terms if I go in the courtroom. They don't want you to talk when you go in the courtroom. You don't know what to say if they allowed you to talk when you go in the courtroom. So automatically you're in fear of getting the maximum time. So you're gonna take a plea whether you're guilty or not.
Hey,
That's
he's
the
low key
snare
spitting facts
that
though.
they put most kids in the system. You know,
So in March of 1991, at the age of 14 or 15,
15.
was you a part of a gang?
I was there.
Oh Lord.
Me and another boy wasn't part of the sexual act, but we were there.
You were there.
We were there.
But you didn't rape anybody, is what you're saying.
Listen, they got DNA testing, okay? DNA testing and prove all that.
What do you mean DNA testing? If you just scratch her with your nails, your DNA is left on her. You don't have to nut on somebody to have your DNA on them. So I don't know if they can distinguish what type of DNA was on the girl. But I mean, how the fuck? I mean, if you were there, I'm assuming your DNA is on her regardless. If you touched her, you went around her, you went to breakfast with somebody, I would assume your DNA is around there. So how do we know if what DNA was what? Nah, bro. And I mean, the way he admits this shows to me that it's so obvious that he was there that there's no other way to lie about it. Because this man, with his articulate speech, he for sure would have found a way to lie about it if there was some way he could have. But he's aware already, I'm assuming, that there's no way to deny that he was there. No way to deny it. So he's trying to accept it like this is something normal. Like, yeah, I was there, but, I didn't do nothing. Bro, you were fucking there. What the fuck? I was there. I didn't do nothing. You got me fucked up. And it's crazy how he admits it because he knows he has to. Damn. You know why he has to? Because of this right here. You can't escape it. So he's trying to do his best to swirl it and smear it. You were there, a part of a gang thing. Yeah.
So I'm asking you to explicitly say, would it prove you did or you did?
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't want to say that because I want to put it in my book. So my answer would have been suffice. It would have been positive for you if you read the book. But now you just ushered me into making that decision.
My bad.
Okay, I didn't want to say.
I'm still buying the book. We don't get. This book is still gonna get sold, but I think it's important.
Okay, so no, I didn't rape anybody in 1991. I was there, and if I'm going to be transparent and honest.
Okay, well, no, let's save them details for the book.
Okay,
you said no. We hear you, and so there was, and I'm saying this on the record. There was an accountability law.
He would say
if
otherwise.
You were present,
you're guilty.
You're guilty.
Bottom line.
That is a fact. There's a lot of laws in the land that have targeted African Americans, the war on drugs. This is not an unfamiliar narrative that we have been black and brown. Look at you trying to help everybody.
It's the truth.
So literally, this is a fact that the laws have been designed for our demise and for the deterioration of the fabric of our families and of our black men. And I hear you. And I think that it's so important because being a man that have had many rumors hurled at me, it's important that people do the research. And that's the thing with society. You got to look at the facts. You got to do the research and not just the rumor. So I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to continue to research it and literally say to you that I cannot imagine then being from 15 to actually having a role that you didn't necessarily ask for, but that you're trying to do it to the best of your ability, now being painted across America as this mentor. How did that feel and how did you get through that?
I don't want to sound cocky, so let me be very frank, but also very modest in my answer to that. When they plastered me all over the news, Tiffany's PR told me it was coming. I knew it was coming. She knew it was coming. So when it happened, I was expecting it, but um, I uh, I walked to work the next day with a briefcase and a suit on and asked anybody up in there, did they want coffee?
Too late sounded cocky an hour ago. That is a fact. He doesn't want to sound cocky. Saying not to be rude, but the fuck are you about to do? You're about to be rude, aren't you? The fuck? Not to sound like an asshole, but the fuck are you gonna do? So you're about to sound like an asshole, huh? The fuck?
Just like I did any other day. So people were concerned about me, expect me. Some people were baffled because they just didn't expect for that. They didn't know what to believe. I will say this, Carmen Carlise, I will say she was the only person that came in the mailroom and checked up on my well-being and said, how are you doing? And I appreciated her for that. Um, Even though I'm sure she's been charged with a lot of other stuff since then, but I don't know nothing about that. But she was the only person in Village Hall that came and checked up on me.
Carmen Callis, who is the trustee at Thornton Township, who has now started to actually take a bigger stand against the administration. So let me ask you this question: when this news that's coming, that when it's understood this is coming, because I want to understand the inner workings of the administration and Tiffany, does she protect you or does she drop you?
She drops you.
You know, my answer to this may ruffle a few feathers, but I gotta be very honest.
I hate.
Tiffany,
Okay, I hate when this thing pops in and pops out. Holy shit! Every time it happens, it's like it starts scratching against my soul. It's like, why is that happening? But oh well. I guess we just have to. I guess we just have to deal with it.
I'll say this.
Oh
I
my
don't
God!
want to be
See some more.
demeaning to her character. Tiffany
Do it
just,
more, Daddy.
she's just a person that's marked by having a weak mind. I saw that she was trying to deal with him and deal with me. So one day I was in High Park and my truck started smoking real bad. And I was with Tiffany's cousin Dion. So I called Tiffany because I would call her at any time of the day or night. I called her and I told her, I'm kind of pissed. My truck broke down. And she said, well, you want me to send you a flatbed? I said, no. She had me on speaker. Or maybe she didn't have me on. Maybe her phone was just sensitive where I could hear the audio outside of it. Anyhow, I heard a gentleman's voice. So I asked her, I said, you got me on speaker? She was like, no, you ain't on speaker. I said, who is that you with? And she was like, no, this just this the gentleman's name. I said, okay. So she was like, and I had a habit of calling her baby. That was just my word. It came out naturally. I babe. So she, I'm not an idiot. I protected her. I see that she obviously was lying to this dude too and saying that me and her was just cool or friends. Or I was just the bodyguard, the big, swole, muscular body. I seen what she was doing because I see he was getting probably a little insecure because she was on the phone with me and I called her baby. So she made a note to clean that up. She was like, hey, JB, I was just telling him you call me babe. We just cool like that. And so I seen that she wanted me to help her out right then and there. So I played it all well. I was like, yeah, that's my homegirl. I call her baby all the time. I call my mama baby. But in my head, I'm like, okay, she told me that she was only friends with this guy. But I guess she's telling this guy she's only friends with me too. So let me clear this up very quickly. I'm gonna tell you why I left Tiffany alone.
That boy got jealous.
And this is very true because I was very loyal to Tiffany to the point where I probably would have ended up back in prison over her. I would not let nobody harm her. I wouldn't let nobody speak down on her. And that's just the way I'm built. I wasn't raised that way. I didn't have no mentors that taught me how to be a real man of integrity. That's just the fabric of my character. I genuinely wanted to see her win,
Because you
and
liked
reach
her.
new heights out
It's
here.
simple. It's not.
But
It's not that fucking deep. You went to jail for her because you liked her, and that's stupid. It's not that deep. It's not. It's stupid, but it's not that deep. Like, bro, you're not even a part of a firm or nothing, and you want to be Mr. Security. What if you really had to go and shoot somebody for her, or you know what I'm saying? Now you're in jail because you're stupid. Hey, G Mods in chat, listening at work. Have a great day. Thank you, God's child. Hell yeah.
yes, I would have probably ended up with one of those federal subpoenas if I would still been on the team Tiffany. There's no doubt about it, and I don't deny it.
And with that, and so one of the things that my team has been a lead that we had at one point is that Tiffany knew that and might have asked you, or she might have expressed to you her discontentment for the trustee. You unpack that up for us all?
I'll put the details of that in my book. But I will tell you that she had a lot of contempt for the trustees. Um, I think genuinely all of them had their hearts in the right place. They were all on the ticket. They all had a dream team. And I don't want to, because a lot of people beat up on Tiffany a lot. And I'm just going to say this, it's just a matter of opinion. I think initially everybody had the idea to run the town for the people, do for the people, use the resources for the people, have a dream team. We all like one big family, even though all of us wasn't too intimate with each other like that, but we were like a family, and they all ran on the same ticket to do something meaningful for the town of Dalton. I think when Tiffany got in office, and this is the way, and I don't want anybody to be like, well, he's making incendiary remarks against women. I call her weak-minded because she literally allowed power and money to corrupt her almost immediately.
No, for real. Because just listen, he might be a lot of things, but lying is not what he's doing right now. Because them first few meetings at the village of Dalton, bro, they were hectic. They were not good. And it's almost like, why is she being an asshole? Like in the back of my head, it's like, why is she being a dick right now? Like I'm even trying to figure out. And then she's bringing up things from the past and how when she was a trustee, people didn't pass certain things, and now she's gonna do things differently. I'm like, whoa. What happened, Tiffany? Like, listen, go way back on the YouTube channel Village of Dalton. Go way to the beginning. It's always been a shit show ever since Henyard was there. So I think he was really smart to get away from her. Honestly, it wouldn't matter. It's not like his reputation is anything to fucking to withhold, to hide. You know, you could have whatever he does. It's not worse than what he did, I feel like. So he's absolutely fine sticking with Henyard, in my opinion. I just want to know how he got that much money to get all these clothes and all the jewelry, and what is he doing right now? You know, what does he do right now that's got him so put together? You know, we need to find that out, because bro is hella put together. You know, it's inspiring, right? Shit, he's doing something shady.
Almost immediately. And so I say weak minded because money is only going to enhance what you were already. Whatever you are, when you get a certain level of clout, it's going to, you know, escalate it. So I say she's weak minded because she allowed a couple of people in the village to get in her ear and poison her ear towards me. And she knew without a shadow of a doubt, and Karen Johnson, that we had her back no matter what. So for her to allow a weasel like Keith, and I'm not gonna say prostitute, let me not say that. I'm just gonna
Kim?
I'm not gonna say that either, allegedly. Allegedly. So she allowed these people to get in her ear and completely derail me and Karen. And I did see, here's what you need to understand, because obviously you wasn't around for this part. In my time of being in the campaign office, everybody got along from what I saw. I would see Jason all the time in there, Kiana, Allison Keys. Everybody got along.
Kiana Belcher.
And I still don't know. And maybe somebody knows something I don't know. I don't see nothing, and I'm not saying this in defense of the trustees because I'm neutral as far as I'm my own man. I speak how I speak. I didn't see nothing that they did that would have caused her to jump off the cliff and start acting the way she started acting with them. I didn't see nothing that would have transpired. You know what I mean? But what I do,
but can you give us understanding though? Because if you what did she if she was potentially corrupted, what changed with her or with them?
that's the $1 million question because my experience of being around them. I mean, Jason, it was like a home. The campaign
His suit is over tailored. Just saying, this you're like the 15th person to say something about his suit. Listen, he dresses well though. Don't worry about it. He dresses well. That's what I heard on the streets.
was like a home to all of us.
Yeah,
so
no, but what did she do?
I don't know what she did.
You say
all I know. This is all I know. All I know is that I seen her character transmogrify almost instantly when she started getting certain levels of power and start getting influential people around her who she feel could usher her to new heights. I started seeing her change up and switch up, even with me. So once I see you switching up with me and I care about you, I'm just gonna step back and let you learn whatever lesson you gotta learn on your own, which is what I did. So the reason how me and Tiffany fell out, and if she does watch this, which I'm sure she's gonna find a way to watch this, let this be clarity for you, because I'm sure that she's told a lot of people, JB a snake, he flipped on me, he ain't loyal. I'm gonna tell you why I did what I did. And this is for the record. This is why I jumped off Team Tiffany. So I initially told Tiffany Keith was a snake. I told her he was a snake. So she thought that he was the newest, best thing she'd ever found on the planet. You know what I mean? So she let him poison her mind, turn against Nikita, turned against Karen, turned against me for about 3 people. That was the married dude, the prostitute. I mean, the black woman, the black woman who's had challenges. Let me just say
The black woman who had
and
challenges.
Keith Freeman. Anyhow, yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. But what happened with me and her is that she tried to get me arrested, and she didn't think it would get back to me. So what happened is I had a good friend that worked as one of the department heads, somebody that I know without a shadow of a doubt would not lie on her for absolutely no reason. So this person called me and said, JB, what's going on with you and Tiffany? When he said that, I thought he meant romantically. I said, nothing's going on, because I don't kiss and tell. He said, no, she's trying to have you arrested. I said, arrested for what? Arrested for what? He's like, she's saying that you've been following her around and she feel uncomfortable. And I'm just my blood. I thought that I was a completely changed person after all these years in prison, but I realized that I still suffered from anger when I heard that. And he's also said that
he realized that he still suffered from anger. Sir, you were in a gang. Listen, I'm just gonna say it over and over. You're a predator. Just get over it. Stop trying to, he's trying to come across like this well-spoken scholar of a gentleman. Keyword gentleman, bro. You're not. You're a fucking animal, in my opinion. I still suffer from anger. You probably still suffer from forcing women to do things too. Just saying. Just saying. How do you end up in a group situation like that without saying, I don't think I want to do this, guys. I think I'm going to leave.
Keith Freeman said that he had rumors that I was going to shoot him on sight. I was so pissed because the person that it came from, I know for a fact they're not going to lie on her. So once I seen that she was trying to have me arrested, I realized that she felt like the pressure of my background was too much for her and she couldn't shake the dark cloud of her political career. So she was trying to make, a means to get rid of me, but she did not know how because I was too professional. I spoke professionally, dressed professionally, came on time. She didn't know how to get rid of me. So when I heard that she was trying to have me arrested, I contacted Tom Slovic from Chicago Tribune, and I decided to tell my story, a story that she did not want me to tell, which is the truth about her knowing about my background. She knew the whole time. I watched this woman And you can go research this and look this up yourself. I watched this woman get on a board meeting and cry, real tears, to the point where I knew she was lying, but she still almost convinced me. Even though I knew she was lying, I was literally finna move the tears too, and I knew she was lying. This is the truth. And
Nah,
she
you
acted
just
like she
weak
had to get
minded.
pulled off camera and then brought back on camera and was still teary eyed. I said, this woman is an incredible actor.
No, you just weak minded.
And then I started retracting back to the relics in the past about all the stuff she said. And I'm like, this woman probably been lying and been deceitful the whole time. So anyhow, that's how we fell apart. What caused her, let me go back a little bit before the part where I went to Tom Slovik. So initially she got recalled. The trustees wanted to recall her seat. The girl that worked for code enforcement, that I won't say her name, I just heard that she was some type of street person. But anyhow,
And booster.
she was going around the village.
And uncertified. And a cracky. I'm sorry.
She was going around the town telling village employees that I was a rapist.
Wait, the
I mean, you are.
other inspector
I mean, you are.
said
Yes.
you was a rapist?
Yes. So, yeah, so I took it to Tiffany because I had both Tiffany's phone numbers, and I still do. I
So
took
the real
it to
phone and the burner phone, because she keeps those.
She had 2 cell phones,
Okay.
2 iPhones,
Okay.
and that she kept on her at all times. I had both those numbers, and I would call her any time of the day for any reason. So I called her and told her, you need to talk to your friend because it's going to be an issue if she keeps going around the village spreading mud on my name. So Tiffany acted like she was appalled by it. Oh, I'm going to check her, this, that, and the third, and didn't do nothing. So I'm going to tell you. So she went to some type of outing that I didn't go to. And Mr. Johnson, Karen Johnson, came back and told me that Tiffany was at that same outing after saying she was going to check this girl about what she said. She was out this outing praising her, talking about she was one of her best code enforcement officers, and that just enraged me. And so when she did that, that's when I decided not to deal with Tiffany, period. So for the YouTuber that keeps saying, oh, she left Lavelle and jumped to the other dude, no, she didn't do that. I left her alone. So when I think that she did,
I told you these folks are watching these YouTube videos, man. Whenever you're, I noticed something. Whenever you start exposing people for the fuckery, they start to notice and they pay close attention. You know, do you ever notice if someone's been like maybe talked shit against and they're actually innocent? They don't really do too much. It's like they'll say a statement and be like, "Fuck that! I'm not adhering to that energy." This guy, Tiffany, Keith Freeman, I bet you they're scouring the internet. What are people saying about me? What are people saying about me? Let me make sure. Look, they're over here paranoid.
didn't check this girl about calling me out my name and dragging my name. I left Tiffany alone. So Tiffany was scared because she thought literally she was going to be recalled. She only won the recall of technicality. She would literally be out of there right now. But she was terrified. She was scared, so she had the girl named Cheryl to call me, tow truck lady. And when she called me, she said, listen, Tiffany want to know, can you come out with her on the recall? I guess she wanted me to walk down the street with her for protection or just help politically, period, with it. I told her, man, lose my number. I'm not helping her do nothing. And after that, when I would come through Village Hall, Tiffany would be there. She would give me these puppy dog eyes like, is this what we own now? And I just walked past her like she didn't exist. I left her alone effectively when I seen that she didn't check that girl and stood on about dragging my name in the mud because I literally would not let nobody say nothing about Tiffany. You couldn't say nothing about her in my presence, and people knew that. So when I seen that she didn't give me the same respect and integrity, I left her alone, period. Left her alone on all walks. The only reason why, and just because I left her alone didn't mean I flipped and was going on the trustee side. Because a lot of people think, oh, he ain't messing with Tiffany no more. He with the trustees now. It wasn't no with the trustees or Tiffany. I messed with the trustees the same way I messed with Tiffany. I wasn't with the childishness that Tiffany was on as far as, oh, we don't like the trust. It's team, us against them. They the ops, all that childish BS. I wasn't with none of that. I carried myself grown.
Wow.
So I still spoke to them when I seen them in outings. Even though that was something she was transfixed against. But the fact is,
He loves that word
time that
transfixed, and it's lost all meaning to me. He transfixed is Everything is super transfixed out here. That's all you guys need to know. Is that everybody's transfixed on everything, and transfixation is just transfixing because they were transfixed.
I went to Tom Slovic and effectively defected on her and told my side of the story was when I seen she tried to have me arrested. When I seen she tried to have me arrested, the gloves was off. It was over with.
I don't think so either, Jim.
So,
but who am I to say?
I could you put it a little closer because I can't see it. Yeah, I was trying to see what's up. I'm trying to see something, but let me put it a little closer. So, intermission. Oh, okay, intermission.
There's been a lot of bullying going on in the village. There's been a lot of firing illegally. There's been a lot of silliness, locking people out there, all type of dumb stuff that's been going on, right? And so, when I realized that people were being bullied, I wanted to be involved with it. So I took a host of people's phone numbers that were being bullied, threatened, and I told them I would respond faster than the police. So when I seen you come to the village, the spirit just told me God sent him here. I told Karen Johnson, I said, God sent him here. God sent him here.
He makes me chuckle every time he brings up God, bro. Bro, shut up. Please stop it. You're making fun of God at this point. God sent him here, bro. You're not spiritual, bro. You could see through him, bro. Look at this man. Look at him, bro. He ain't going to church on Sunday. Listen, he's best dressed, but he not going to church.
I made a spiritual and mental note not to let nothing happen to you. If there's anybody that's watching this right now, you feel offended by that, we can meet wherever.
But yeah, shit, props to him for getting this shit out here, bro. The man, the myth, the race, Mr. Lavelle Redmond, you know? Or however they say it.